So, it's podcast 54.
54. Let's hit it.
It is far better to grasp the universe as it really is than to persist in delusion, however satisfying and reassuring.
Oh, that's got to be Sagan.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franklin.
It is Sagan.
Oh, gotta love him.
No, I'm still trying to do that impression. It's so annoying. I'm going to get it one day. I'll do it.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Was that your impression?
No, I was going to do my impression. I'm still not quite there.
All right, we're still waiting.
Yeah.
What a quote.
Yeah,
what
it's so
a
genius.
Quote. So Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Jamie. And yourself?
Good. Very well also, thank you.
Excellent.
And listeners, we hope you're well.
Oh, yes, listeners, are you well? And
Don't
if you
we?
are well,
Yeah.
if you're feeling well enough, obviously go over to iTunes, subscribe, 5-star review.
Oh, what a link. That is great.
There we go. Thanks very
good.
much.
Very good.
We could start with the news, actually. There's quite a lot of stuff going on this week, wasn't there?
Let's do it.
First bit in the news, there was yet more delays on the old SLS. It looks pretty certain that is not going to fly its first mission until 2020. That seems like an age.
Come on, SLS.
So,
I mean, what are they doing?
Yeah,
You know?
I know, that's crazy. Another thing that happened this week, SpaceX rocket engine exploded. So one of their Merlin engines exploded on the test stand.
Matt.
Well, I think it completely wrecked one of their test stands, so they're fixing that and doing an inquiry into what happened. So this is the first bit of bad news that SpaceX have had this year on pretty essentially, like we said, that they're absolutely smashing it at the moment.
We cursed them, Matt.
Yeah, well, I think we may have done, but look, they're on course for something like 19 launches this year, which is
to be fair,
quite
they've done
considerably
all right.
more than 8 last year. So that is they're flying.
That's
no one was hurt.
That's
no
their
one was
minor
hurt.
hiccup. That's it.
Yeah, it's not minor. I think it's obviously fairly serious, but no one was hurt. That's the good thing.
You can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs.
No, that's right. Another news article I saw this week, Jamie, that I thought was really cool is the public have been invited to vote on nicknames for the New Horizons target. We've talked about it on the show. We talked about it where it was where it looks like it's a binary object. But yes, currently it's known as 2014 MU69, which is a pretty boring name if you don't mind me saying. So yes, what's have you thought of a name for it, Jamie? I've come up with one. Do you want to hear mine?
What's yours? Hit me with yours.
Kuiperary McKuiperface. Or Kuiperary McKuiperface. What do you think?
I like that. I was going to go with Honky Tonk.
Honky Tonk.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, that's brilliant because it reminds me of what was that show with Honky Tonk in it? Anyway, very
I don't
good.
know. I was thinking of the Rolling Stones song. One of my faves, Matt.
Oh yes, Honky Tonk. That's actually really good. I'm sure it was a character in Are You Being Served?
Although recently I'm getting more into the country Honky Tonk, as in the Rolling Stones alternative version.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I should go and listen to that.
Discuss. Let us know which Rolling Stones version of Honky Tonk you prefer.
Well, I hope you've sent in Honky Tonk, or we might end up with names like Pluck and Persistence, which is a name.
Can't say that after a few beers.
No. and Mjolnir, which is the name of Thor's hammer.
That's good, but I don't think it's very easy for anyone to pronounce outside of
Norway.
Yeah.
but still, we always get our way, don't we?
Yeah, big time.
I'm going to put some sad news in here.
Oh, not more. Go on.
Yeah, so we're losing more and more of our Apollo astronauts. So I'm afraid if Brian Blessed, this would be not what he would be. He wouldn't be able to go, Gordon's alive! Because unfortunately, Dick Gordon, one of the Apollo astronauts, has died this week at the age of 88
years old. Well, that's a good innings, isn't it?
Yep, he's walked in space and flew to the moon.
Cheers, Dick. You're a legend.
Legend.
Rest in peace.
Yes, another Apollo astronaut gone. What really upsets me. It's another Apollo astronaut we won't interview
I know.
Pretty sad, isn't it?
Not in this world.
No. Here's a really great one as well that I spotted, Jamie. There's a Kickstarter page, and do you know what it's for?
Go on.
It's as a memorial. Someone wants to build a statue in Paris to Félicité. Remember Félicité from a couple of weeks ago? She was the cat that the French flew up into space. And a Londoner, weirdly, a guy called Matthew Guy. Called Matthew Guy. I'm a guy called Matthew. But he's Matthew Guy.
That's true.
From London.
Very confusing.
It's very confusing, isn't it? And he wants to build a memorial to Félicité in Paris. And he started a Kickstarter page. So why don't you make your way to the Kickstarter page and salute to the cat or chien that went into space?
So is that going to be like a stone statue of a space cat?
Yeah. Why not?
Wow.
Maybe a brass one. I just don't know. Go to the Kickstarter page and find out.
I'm going to donate.
You can go for different levels and get yourself a little poster card and all that kind of stuff.
If I donate enough, could I be treated as the next animal in space?
Yes, I think so. I think if we fire a Jamie Franklin in space, that would be really cool.
Unfortunately, he burnt up on re-entry.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah. A really cool one, Jamie. This is super cool.
Go on.
Well, I don't know if it is super cool or not.
now you've bigged it up.
They're about to stick a laser on a fighter jet.
You haven't let me down, Matt. That is cool.
So the Air Force Research Laboratory, or the AFRL, have issued a $26.3 million contract to Lockheed to build a laser on the front of one of its tactical fighters by 2021. So it's going to be like Star Wars, man. So it's what's really
cool.
The favourite bit of this story is the key technology is from a multi-kilowatt fibre laser that was used on the Navy vessel, the USS Ponce. Now I know this won't be funny to Americans, but Ponce really is quite a funny word in London or the UK. It kind of means a kind of effeminate man, and also to ponce means to sort of takes money off, borrow money. Oh, can I ponce a cigarette off you, mate? Like that kind of thing. Kind of
bit camp,
a bit honky tonk, maybe.
A bit honky tonk, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're all guilty of, aren't we, Matt? If we put our hands up.
Yeah, exactly.
And wave them around like jazz hands.
Guilty. So, Russia.
Oh, dear.
Are we allowed to leave that one in? I just don't know.
Yeah.
Russia locks up 6 people. They've locked up 6 people. But don't worry, it's for a moon flight simulation.
Oh, thank goodness.
3 men and 3 women have been locked up on Tuesday for a 17-day preparation, long-term mission thing where they just get shut in a box for 17 days and see what happens.
It's a good experiment.
So they're researchers and cosmonauts that have been training in Russia, and they've just been bunged in this 8,800 cubic feet box.
It doesn't seem that big.
No, it's not very big. That's pretty small. No. The Russians are quite famous for this as well. They've locked up 3 men in a 24 cubic metre metal box for a whole year back in 1967.
Right.
And there was a long-term on-land mission, simulated flight to Mars, which locked an international crew of 6 men in a module for 520 days. That ended in November 2011.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What are they planning to get? What are they hoping to get out of it?
Well, so they can see how people behave when they're locked in a...
So when we send them to Mars, we can lock them in a box in the knowledge that they won't die.
But yeah, or go insane or start killing each other or ripping each other's throats out. It's really, do you know what? That kind of psychology really hasn't been looked at in great detail at all, because it's such a hard experiment to do. Someone's got to volunteer to put themselves in a box for a year with a bunch of other people.
And also, as I think we discussed on Mars Nation, you don't know how anyone's going to react, i.e., you could send Tim Peake to space and in the knowledge that he's a pretty sound character. But if you lock Tim Peake in a box for a year...
he might go crazy.
You don't know how mad he'd go, just like me. Maybe I'd be nice and calm.
Did I mention last week about Amanda Holden asking Tim Peake about going to the moon?
Yeah, you did. And how embarrassing is that still?
It still actually makes me feel slightly sick.
We should be interviewing people like that, not Holden.
Yeah, not Holden.
So I can make those kind of mistakes. Not really. Not really.
No, totally. I think we should move on to our space feature this week.
Yes, please.
So our space feature this week was a story that sort of broke last week, which is actually really, really a cool story, a very cool story, that there's a new paper out that has been looking at old data from a couple of satellites.
Yeah.
And has kind of really isolated the fact that there really is this enormous lava tube on the moon, which would be really suitable to actually build a habitat inside. And you're saying, what are you talking about, Matt? Well, first of all, let's just talk about just how miserable life on the surface of the moon would be. It's like it's just a total disaster. You've got the regolith, and I love that word regolith, and I just thought I'd quickly say where that word comes from.
Yes, please.
Yeah, regos means blanket, and lithos means rock. So it's a blanket of rock.
Wow.
So that's what regolith means.
Nice.
And it's the regolith builds up from tiny meteorites hitting the moon all the time and crumbling up the bedrock into these tiny particles. But anyway, the regolith on the surface of the moon is this horrible, horrible, sharp dust that kind of is pretty bad for you. If it gets in the astronauts' lungs, it will affect their nervous system and cardiovascular system. So it's not great. And the Apollo crew members all moaned about how it kind of was a real irritant, and none of them liked it. So the regolith is a big problem. But not only that, on the moon you're exposed to ionizing radiation, micrometeorites that travel, by the way, what was it? Micrometeorites, they travel
60,000 miles an hour.
60,000 miles an hour. So, yeah, you think about the Earth, we're sort of going through space dust, and the atmosphere soaks up all those tiny little bits of space dust, so no one ever gets hit by it. But the moon is essentially naked as it's going through space, and so every single bit of dust hitting the surface is going 60,000 miles an hour. And even though it's tiny, you get hit by something going 60,000 miles an hour, and you're going to know about it. So it's a very, very, very dangerous place, the surface of the moon, and we haven't even got into coronal mass ejections, and worse still, actually, is cosmic rays. So things coming out of particles, highly energetic particles that are coming out of quasars in galaxies far, far away. When they hit you, that's doing some pretty serious damage, as in a particle basically going right through your brain, for example. So it's going to give you cancer, and it's not going to be great. So
let's just get in the lava tube.
Yeah. So get in the lava tube. If you've got these lava tubes, so this lava tube, there's a thing called a skylight, which is like a hole where a lava tube has kind of collapsed. So these lava tubes are caused by when lava is flowing, maybe the surface of the lava starts setting, but the lava underneath is still flowing underneath. And eventually the lava flows out to wherever it's going, but leaves this kind of solid tube behind. And of course,
fact for you, Matt, I once went in a lava cave in Iceland.
Oh, you are one ahead of me again.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, that actually does sound really, really cool.
I'll send you some pictures. We can stick them up on the blog. But
totally.
It is incredible. It's really incredible. Check them
out on our Instagram. You do that, Jamie.
Big time.
So yeah, that's really cool. So this one tunnel, basically using the data. So it was a new paper by T. Kaku et al. Called The Detection of Intact Lava Tubes at Marius Hills on the Moon by Selene, which was the Japanese satellite, also known as Koyuga or Kugya. And that went over, and it was a radar satellite that went over, and it found quite a lot of information. And this information's been, I've kind of looked this up, and this information's been knocking around for quite some time.
Yeah.
But with the help of the Grail satellite, which is an American NASA mission where there was a pair of satellites that mapped the gravity all around the moon, there's a massive gravity anomaly at the same spot over this skylight. And piecing those two bits of data together, this paper suggests that there's a lava tube under there that would be easily big enough to have an entire city, a city the size of Philadelphia or bigger, underneath.
God, that's nuts. I don't know if you do this, Matt. You're probably not experiencing the same thoughts. But whenever I think of the moon, I think of it as really small.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I know. Do you know? I think most people do, and
I think it's just it's out there. Earth isn't massive,
but isn't it the same surface area of Australia? But to really get that into perspective, you need to see Australia on a Peters projection map where it looks a lot bigger than it does. Because obviously Australia is bigger than Greenland, but it doesn't look like that on your normal maps. So yeah, it's huge. The moon.
Matt, give me the 4 biggest islands on Earth.
The 4 biggest islands.
Yeah.
Does Australia count as an island?
Yeah. Does Australia count as an island? I guess it does, doesn't it?
We've gone off piste. We've gone into geography here.
Australia, Greenland, Madagascar, and then I'd say answers on a postcard.
Answers on a postcard. So yes, so this lava tube in Marius Hills, using this data, looks like it's absolutely enormous, and this is really, really good news. And I really like this because it means it really does bolster the case to go to the moon. Go to the moon, learn how to set up habitats, which can be inflatable habitats now. Now they're protected by all this bedrock, and learn how to use these habitats in the lava tubes. Because guess what? On Mars, there's lava tubes, and you definitely have to go on into these lava tubes if you want long-term settlements on Mars. So this is really good practice. So I think this find will be really, really interesting, and I should imagine that this skylight in the Marius Hills will be one of the places that NASA will be seriously looking at going to in the next 20, 30 years.
Matt, could they ever set it up so that we wouldn't have to always... I mean, could they put caps on these lava tubes so that they wouldn't have to wear breathing apparatus?
Oh, I don't know. Well, there was that really brilliant one, wasn't it? That one of the greatest ideas of building a habitat on Mars, for example, is to have the cap that goes over these lava tubes built out of ice.
Yes.
And so it'd be a really easy building material, but of course it'd be absolutely fine because it's so cold on the surface of Mars.
Yeah.
In fact, talking about temperature, so on the moon in the day, which lasts 354 hours, there's an average temperature of about 107 degrees centigrade.
Oof.
And it can go up to 123 degrees centigrade. That is ridiculous. I mean, that's boiling. That's boiling water. So it gets up to boiling water, and at night it goes down to minus 153. So again, it's this whole idea that the moon is naked. It doesn't hold any heat whatsoever, ever. It just comes and goes instantly because there's no atmosphere to hold the heat. So you have to do something about that. And underground, apparently the temperature now averages out to about minus 23, which of course would be easily in the realms of having just normal central heating. So it really does solve quite a lot of problems. I think that's a really interesting story. So so go and have a look at that paper. It's a paper, and quite a few obviously websites covered that story. But the paper, "The Detection of Intact Lava Tubes" by T.
I'd like them to send us a little map. Like in Prometheus, where he throws up the little kind of he calls them his dogs, doesn't he? He chucks them up in the air, and then they map the tube, the tunnel that they're in. I'd quite like that to happen.
Yeah.
Just give Ridley Scott a call.
So, who is our astronaut of the week, Jamie?
Well, Matt, it's only Ernst Messerschmid.
Messerschmid. What a great German name that is.
Brilliant name, isn't it?
Couldn't be more German.
Professor.
Professor Dr. Ernst Willi Messerschmid, born May the 21st, 1945, German physicist. So, yes, he is our astronaut of the week, and he's got my favourite end to an interview, this one, where we talk about a bit of plumbing. So, He tells us a lot about his life, so I don't think we need to go too much in. He flew up as a payload specialist on STS-61, which was, again, a bit like last week's astronaut, is a space lab mission.
Yes.
Yes, and And the crew, it was a crew of 8, which is the most amount of people that have ever been flown up on a single mission.
That is a lot, isn't it?
Shall we just listen to that interview and go?
Let's go for it.
Bishti, bashti, bosh.
Let's go for it.
Écoutez.
It's time for Astronaut of the Week.
My name is Ernst Messerschmid. I'm one of the first German astronauts. Flew with the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1985, the German Space Lab Mission 1. And after that I became professor at the University of Stuttgart until today, in fact. And but still working full-time, 24/7 a day. I'm still having a project on the International Space Station that is towards the Internet of Things, using the ISS as a relay station, like a satellite, to demonstrate the process before we put this on a constellation of satellites. So that's my task. So space is now becoming more and more important for societies. We didn't think of at my time as an astronaut that we have such a big penetration in society in using space. By the way, with a colleague of mine, I wrote a book. This is now an advertisement.
Good, please do.
The German title is Vom All in den Alltag, and the English title is From Space to Earth, produced by Schiffer Publisher, where we in fact write a bit about the history of space and the many services we have today, not only like GPS, like navigation in general, or communication, but also agriculture, the infrastructure management, tracking aircrafts, and those kind of things.
Sure. Amazing. So out of all of your incredible days you've had as an astronaut, which would you say is your favourite, number one?
Day?
Yeah, your favourite day, if you could live it again.
Well, that is, of course, associated with my space flight.
Sure.
There's no question. And it was very tough, very hard, this mission. 70 experiments in 7 days. And we worked days and night. We had a 3-shift crew. And what I missed is a bit more time for myself, because we just were geared to produce results. And I was anxious to look at the face of many PhD students. We had about 100 professors in our back as principal investigators, and each one had typically 2 PhD students, and we knew that we can't make everyone happy. Okay. But the good side of it, we had a very good team. The only flight on the space shuttle with 8 astronauts up and down. And the amazing thing is, each one of us had a pilot license and a PhD.
So most amount of people on the flight.
So our commander was an aerospace engineer with a PhD, Bonnie Dunbar. It was her first flight. She's now the managing director of the Association of Space Explorers of the United States. Yeah. You know that we have our own club, ASC, Association of Space Explorers. That was founded just the year of my flight. So I was only the second annual Congress then accepted as a member. So you are only accepted once you have flown at least once around Earth and joined at least one of the conferences. Then you are a member.
Absolutely.
And we have almost each year a conference now. This year in Toulouse, 2 weeks. This is, of course, a privilege coming together from time to time.
Oh.
And by the way, at the beginning, we had Rusty Schweikert, he was one of the founders, and Alexei Leonov. And so they always had been the presidents, and it continued. I was about the astronaut number 100, plus minus, I don't know exactly, 99 or 1001, 101. And when we had our 5th Congress in Saudi Arabia, Prince Sultan was also flying on the space shuttle. Then we discovered that we don't have only American astronauts and Russian cosmonauts, but also flyers from Europe, from Japan, etc. And we needed another president in the executive committee, and I was then named for those non-Russians and Americans named president of the rest of the world.
That's not a bad title.
President of the rest of the world.
But the rest was minor.
So there's been a lot of talk recently where we've had a prolonged period of talking of going to Mars, but now it seems to be switching back to the moon. What's your opinion? Do you think we should be going to the moon next, or do you think we should be concentrating on Mars? And which one would you go to if you were given the chance to go to the moon or go to Mars?
Both, of course. One at the same time. I was professor of 30 years, also writing books on space systems, orbit mechanics, and all transportation systems, etc. And I explored very deep into the question of what are the arguments why we should go to the moon or back to the moon and to Mars. So first of all, we need, of course, a good motivation to convince the public and the politicians, and also we have to find ways to get it more economically done. I think the tendency right now is to get, and I had a few PhD studies on that. By the way, I was the supervisor of more than 60 PhD students, so that's good that you have young, ambitious young engineers to go in very, very detail in transportation and also human issues, etc. What we name human behavior and performance training, and it was clear that it's more logical to go first back to the moon. Of course, you might say, or public says, we have been there, so and we can't do it better, Yeah. But now the tendency is that we rather, and the Apollo mission was more for political demonstration, but of course also science, etc. But now, but they went to different locations. It's the typical American way to have fireplaces here and there. So this is how they went to the West. This image is quoted often, and now it makes more sense for scientific reasons and other reasons to go to one place and to develop an infrastructure, lunar village. ESA is promoting this idea, open access. Also a different procedure to joining forces in the space flying communities, not say contributions based on elements like modules or transportation systems, more on competence in some areas, and inviting everyone and every nation to support this. also with eventually some also commercial factor, also paying part of the mission, like Olympic Games, the TV stations and the interviews from space, etc., and also have a private person soon on such a mission. I think there are many ways to think about, and but one problem is our Europe. I'm not going to Brexit, with or without Brexit, that we only have a share at the ISS of 8%. And this does not correspond to the 450 million people with a high edge of living standard. So we should definitely do more.
Absolutely agreed.
And we need societies like yours to promote this, and also to get a bit away from the utilitarian arguments.
Absolutely.
It's more our culture, our curiosity, and it's not primarily technology, but that comes automatically. I always tell in my public presentations, space is the most innovative, community, because depending on the project, between 30 and 50, 60% of the turnaround of money in a project is R&D. And there's no other, business in automotive industry. For them, for example, aircraft industry comes next, so it's about 15%. Airbus is 15% is R&D, and the rest is just butter and bread engineering. But R&D is important. Automotive industry is only 6%. Pharmaceutical also about in that area. Most of energy provision, providing activities is in 1 or 2% domain. So space is innovative. Space is leading us to some places where we have not been yet, and I think it's I would say even a genetic imperative.
So I have one final question for you before you go, and that's, what is the piece of advice that you were given maybe when you were starting out in your career that you can share with us? What was your best bit of advice that you were given?
That was, I was a plumber. My father had a workshop with 5-6 people, and I was advised by my parents to take this. I was the oldest son, to take this job over, and I did my apprenticeship, and I had to go to school for this kind of practical business, plumbing, and there was a teacher, and I was always the best in my class, and also for that. And he told my father, let this young boy go to do something else. I was very strong in mathematics, and that was the best advice very, very early. And then I did, within a short time, the Abitur and studied physics and all the rest is. And then there was another professor, he told me, go to CERN in Geneva. So that was the high end of particle physics. So by this I became international, the international gene. I had to learn better English, of course. I had to learn French, and I appreciate very much this kind of international flavor. So the driver behind was always curiosity.
Well, we appreciate your time today. And have a great rest of the day.
It was my pleasure.
They never got tempted to get you to try and fix the plumbing on the space station?
Yes, I did. It's
Perfect
like
person.
when you're in a building, when you have problems, you never have all tools you actually need to repair something.
Tell me about
And I did a plumbing for the atomic clock. By the way, I sometimes with RL did a fluid container. The pipe was put on the wrong side, so I had to take with the RL did, sort of glue, to make it differently, and so it's practical what we do in space.
Yeah,
I mean, we need to know the science behind, but the truth is, it's more practical.
Plumbing skills.
Plumbing skill
comes in handy.
Needed.
Fantastic.
And still today, I need all this.
Brilliant. Yeah, super handy.
Okay, it was my pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
What a legend, huh?
He's just brilliant. And what, as you said about that bit of advice, isn't that great that he's like, look, just like getting into space is a bonus, but just do something that you're really good at, and just treat everything else as a bonus.
Legend. Now,
Here's to all you plumbers out there.
yeah.
Hey, Matt, I'd like to give you my space fact.
Give me your space fact, Mr. Franklin.
But I want to make sure before I do, is everyone sitting down? Because this could topple you.
Go for it.
It takes around 230 million years for our solar system to complete a single orbit around the Milky Way. The last time it was in its current position, the earliest dinosaurs had just appeared, and flowering plants wouldn't evolve for another 100 million years.
I mean,
God.
Do you know what? You say that space fact, and there's two things that spring to mind for me with this one.
Yeah.
Is that I can't believe it only takes 230 million years for the Earth to orbit the galaxy.
Yeah.
I find that really amazing, and more amazing is that that there's been life on Earth and it's been round once, and I just think that's absolutely incredible.
We've done a lap.
We've done a lap, and for me, I think that's quite a small. I'm actually surprised by how small time that took. The bit that surprises me is that there was dinosaurs, and there was dinosaurs around, and it wasn't for another 100 million years that we had flowers.
I know. That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the dinosaurs were around for a very, 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 very long time.
I mean, do you think someone close is watching, who's just really, really old?
Yeah.
And saying, "Oh, you lot have changed."
One of my favourite facts, I love paleontology, and one of my favourite facts is that we live closer to Tyrannosaurus rex than Tyrannosaurus rex lived to Triceratops.
That's crazy.
Yeah, as in,
wow.
they lived millions and millions and millions of years apart. They never had any of those Hollywood fights that we see them have. So, yeah. That's a brilliant fact, Jamie. Well done.
Well, it's a good one, and I'd like everyone to just take a minute, have a think about that, and just appreciate life.
In fact, I'll tell you what. While you're thinking about it, maybe email Jamie and I with a new space fact, and keep those correspondence coming in.
That's a really good idea.
Jamie, I didn't tell you. I did have an email from a listener who wanted us to look into something. Yeah, I'm not going to reveal it until I've got an interview with the with the company that do this. So we've had some. So you can shape this program by writing in, and we will do what you want to hear about. So do it.
We're here for you.
So keep subscribing,
keep liking, and stop doing that. You'll get hairy palms.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. Now, next week we have got an absolutely brilliant special guest. So absolutely tune in. It's going to be totally awesome.
If you thought we've been good up till now, I'll tell you what, you wait. You wait to see who we've snagged.
Do you know where I'm going tomorrow?
Where?
I'm going to Mars Nation. To Alicia Mayan-Konkaya's Mars Nation at the British Interplanetary
brilliant, and Mars
Society.
Nation is brilliant. So check it out. Can we put a link up, Matt, to Mars Nation, please?
I will. I'll put a link up to Mars Nation, and I'll be talking about that next week as well.
Absolutely. And Matt, before you go, it's the Interplanetary Podcast. Putting the ace back into space. 230 million years.
I thought you were going to say 230 million subscribers.
We've got to be close. We've got to be close by now, haven't we?
Well, at the rate we're going, by the time we've done a lap of the galaxy, it probably will be about that.
We might be in double figures. Oh dear. Well, Matt, you have a good weekend, and all of you too.
And everyone out there, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you next week. And it's going to be brilliant. You'll see.
Goodbye, my little space pigs.
I gave a little hint about who it would be early on in the podcast. Let's see if
guess?
You know. Bye bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.